Before I start this video, I want to make it clear that I bear no ill will towards Adam something personally. In fact, I greatly enjoy his style of content and I agree with his opinion on a great many things. This is merely a criticism of, or response to, one video in particular, namely Adam's scathing commentary on the city of Dubai. Although no doubt created with the best of intentions, the video is filled with factual inaccuracies and outdated information. This isn't solely Adam's fault, since the internet is awash with misleading information about Dubai and the Gulf overall. Finding verifiable facts among the sea of opinion pieces and misinformation is quite difficult, and I don't imagine for a moment Adam's intention was to mislead anyone. With all that said, let's get into the video. Adam's first claim is bifold. Firstly, we're told that the Burj Khalifa has no connection to the local sewer system. This is demonstrably false, as indicated in a 2006 case study of the building published by an American architecture firm. In this document, the plumbing and sewage systems are discussed in detail. A complete soil, waste and vent system from plumbing fixtures, floor drains and mechanical equipment arranged for gravity flow and ejected discharge to a point of connection with the local city municipal sewer system is provided. A complete storm drainage system from roofs, decks, terraces and plazas arranged for gravity flow to a point of connection with the city municipal sewer system is provided. The next claim is that lines of sewage trucks line up next to the Burj Khalifa each day to collect the waste. As evidence of this, Adam shows a video capturing a long line of sewage trucks. This video is from all the way back in 2009, at a time when Dubai's rapid population growth overwhelmed its sewage treatment capacity. The plant was unable to keep up with demand, resulting in large queues forming at the city's only waste treatment plant in Al Awir. The waste in those trucks was mostly from workers' accommodation, newly built areas that had not yet been connected to the sewage system, and very remote developments with no municipal sewage access. This situation was quickly resolved with the opening of a second, larger plant in nearby Jebel Ali. This is one of the most persistent myths about Dubai, one so widely reported that it's become a sort of pseudo-fact that everyone just believes despite it being demonstrably untrue. Lines of sewage trucks were simply a temporary reality of the city's explosive growth for a few months until the issue was solved in 2010 with the opening of the new plant. The next part of Adam's video discusses mega projects such as the Palm and World Islands. He mentions that the desert sand is too coarse to be used for construction, necessitating the use of marine sand from the seabed. This is actually wrong. Desert sand's too fine, having an almost powdery consistency. He also mentions the destruction of coral reefs, which is again a widely reported issue but also demonstrably untrue. Firstly, the areas where the islands were constructed consisted mostly of sand with very few coral present. The corals that were present were not destroyed either. They were relocated to artificial reefs on the outskirts of the project, where they have survived and thrived, contributing to marine biodiversity and increasing the overall amount of marine life in the area. Naturally, any project of this size will create some level of ecological damage, but the Dubai authorities and developer Nakheel have gone to great lengths to minimize the harm done. Divers visit the islands every 6 weeks to monitor and record the growth of marine life to ensure no lasting damage was inflicted. Adam also claims the islands are sinking by 5mm a year, quoting from a 2018 Business Insider article that cites a 2009 New York Times article as a source for the data. For one, the article is way outdated, but secondly and more importantly, the 2009 New York Times article cited makes no reference to NASA measurements. I cannot find any official statement from NASA making this claim, or reports seem to just cite other reports rather than an actual original source. It's also been pointed out by Nakheel, the developer, that NASA satellites do not have the accuracy to even measure such small changes, only being accurate to around plus or minus 50mm. Ultimately, such a level of subsistence would be immediately obvious from the resulting degradation of infrastructure. Pipes would begin to leak, walls would crack, and so on. These defects are not present on the islands even 13 years after the 5mm a year claim was supposedly made. Again, I can't fully blame Adam for getting this stuff wrong, because the nonsense is so widely reported despite there being no actual verifiable information behind it. I place the blame largely on news companies who publish this stuff, to be honest. That said, just because Business Insider writes something doesn't make it true, and I do think all of us have at least some responsibility to independently verify stuff before we accept it as fact and broadcast it to 5 million people. Adam's take on architecture annoys me almost as much as Charlie's take on art. This is all just opinion, since objective beauty is impossible to quantify, but I fundamentally disagree with Adam's theory that bland, efficient functionality is the epitome of architectural design. Dubai's architecture is stunning, at least in my opinion, featuring modern marvels of design and engineering alongside a host of more traditional architecture. I don't want to get too heavily into this point though, because as I say, these are all matters of opinion, which isn't really the point of this video. Throughout a large portion of this section, Adam focuses on Dubai's car dependency, and lack of walkability. This is to some degree a valid issue. Dubai's road network is needlessly annoying and complex in places, separating areas from each other with massive roads, but also a lot of downtown Dubai is perfectly walkable for daily life, with restaurants and amenities all available at street level. This is equally true of many areas of the city, including Deira, the old city centre, which is exactly the kind of historical Arab city Adam claimed didn't exist. Also, the Dubai government has made heavy investments as of late into public transport and modifications to the road network, which has gone some way to fixing the car-centric nature of the place. This part of Adam's commentary kinda just came off as a generic molding European opinion piece on American-style urban design. Like, sure, it's a valid criticism to some extent, but it's hardly a problem unique to Dubai, and it's just something you kinda get used to. According to Global Slavery Index data from 2018, you are more likely to be enslaved in the following countries than in the UAE. The United Kingdom, Germany, Norway, France, Italy, Spain, Austria, South Korea, Portugal, Iceland, Netherlands, Belgium, Greece, Poland, Russia, Czech Republic, Romania, Thailand, Latvia, Estonia, Vietnam, Mexico, Cuba, Honduras, China, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Turkey, Bulgaria, Kazakhstan, Bosnia, Belarus, Georgia, Lithuania, Albania, Serbia, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Mongolia, and a bunch more, but you get the idea. Additionally, the same dataset indicates the UAE stands out in the Gulf region for its relatively strong government response to the issue. The topic of modern slavery is of course very emotionally charged, but it's important to look at the actual data. Modern slavery happens everywhere, as we can see from this map, and I don't think it's fair to call Dubai a slave state for having the same amount of slavery as, say, Switzerland or Ireland. Again, this is an issue that's widely reported, but for which I can find no statistical basis. Are there anecdotal pieces describing individual accounts of modern slavery in Dubai? Yes. Is there any data showing Dubai in particular as a haven for enslavement? Not that I can find. All the data seems to paint a fairly positive overall picture of slavery in the country. Adam also raises the issue of dangerous working conditions and worker suicides, citing statistics from the Commonwealth Human Rights Watch. Interestingly, the data quotes raw numbers of deaths and suicides rather than overall rates of death and suicide. I suspect this is done to manipulate the reader, since overall rates of injury and suicide are not noticeably higher in Dubai than elsewhere. In fact, it's been estimated that the construction site of the Dubai Expo 2020, for example, was safer on average than similar projects constructed in Europe. The raw numbers seem so high simply because Dubai has a lot of construction going on relative to most fully developed cities. It was difficult to approach making this section of the video because I don't want to minimize the issue. The fact slavery exists at all in the modern world is horrifying. It's something I think we all stand firmly against. It's just a little unfair for Adam to point the finger at Dubai in particular in this context, while living in a country with a higher rate of slavery himself. Overall, most points in Adam's video can either be outright disproven or at the very least disputed. The video felt more like an ideological hit piece than objective assessment, with the overtones of misanthropy, nihilism, and condescension present throughout. I'm not going to sit here and sing the praises of Dubai to conclude the video. Dubai's a city with positives and negatives like anywhere else is. I venture the only way to make an accurate assessment of the city is to live in it and experience it. I'll conclude the video instead by making a more general point about information and the internet. In the modern era, we're all bombarded daily with a torrent of information, some of which we have no ability to independently verify, and some of which is undoubtedly false. It's increasingly difficult to separate fact from opinionated noise, and information circulated widely before it can be verified. In a sense, the true parody of the 21st century is Adam's video in itself, a case study in how easily people will believe things that aren't true all the way down the food chain. A reporter writes a story based on false information from the description of a YouTube video, taking the information as fact in an attempt to get the scoop. Adam, researching his video, reads these articles and assumes them to be factual. The viewers then assume Adam's research is factual, and the whole echo chamber continues ad nauseum until the truth's buried forever in an archived case study from 2006. This is my first ever YouTube video. It took me a long time to research and make, and I'm really looking to get this channel off the ground. So if you like the style of video, I'd really appreciate a like and a sub, and I welcome any comments you may have down below. Thank you and good night.